we're in trouble because a lot of millennials are starting to sound like boomers. We can't have that happen. We cannot have that happen.
What really frustrates me in conversations around money and debt is this like illusion that there is no money, that there's no money to be spent, there's no money to spend on things that we actually need, and that like the whole world lives off of debt. But when it's an individual's debt, i.e. student loans, credit cards, car payments, even a mortgage, it's seen through a negative light where it's irresponsibility, it's living beyond your means.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey everybody. I think I'm balding.
I don't know. It looks the same to me, so.
Oh, I guess it's generational. Almost like dead. Aha! I did it. I did a link. I think. I don't know.
I feel like it's more so the mindset of going into debt rather than like leaving debt to your kids, because I don't know how that works, but I don't think you normally leave debt to your kids. It kind of goes away with death. What?
I don't know how to transfer off of death, but yeah, I truly don't know. I always thought that debt can go with you if you not go with you if you die, but go to your family members. But then turns out it can't unless you sign it away. I don't get it. So this is gonna be a learning experience for me.
Parents, please don't be like having your kids co-sign for your debt, because that could end badly.
Dang.
But let's get into it.
Guys are being lied to about how scary the U.S. national debt is. It's currently totaling about $32 trillion, and 2% of our GDP goes to paying the interest annually. And don't get me wrong, that number is quite high, but instead of thinking of the amount of debt like $32 trillion, you want to think of the amount of debt compared to the size of the country's economic output, its GDP. That's measured by something called the debt to GDP ratio, and the last time our debt to GDP ratio was that high, it was around this point, around 1945, World War II. We are about 5 to 6 percentage points higher than that right now. Here's the thing, countries with strong economies and healthy credit ratings can maintain a high debt to GDP, but weak ones can't. Just like Venezuela, Sudan, Greece, Lebanon. Yet the United States does rank in the top 12 countries with the highest debt to GDP at 128%. But look, Singapore has even more rich people coming into the country than the United States, and they have a higher debt to GDP ratio than the US. Japan, one of the largest economies in the world, has a debt to GDP ratio of 266%. But let's look at who we actually owe all of this debt to. This is a chart made by Hubbard O'Brien breaking down exactly where our debt goes. About 25% of all U.S.
I gotta pause it because I can barely read this.
U.S. commercial banks,
And
15.6%.
International government holdings,
Intra-governmental holdings.
Federal Reserve, other countries, Japan, China, United Kingdom. Okay.
And U.S. What's that say? Non-bank public?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. None of that meant. Anyway.
that goes to other countries. So there's Japan, China, the UK, and a bunch of other countries, totaling about $8 trillion. We definitely have to pay interest and pay back that debt. 19.3% of this debt is held by the Federal Reserve, and 21.7% is held by intragovernmental buildings like the Social Security Administration, a bunch of other government institutions, meaning that 41% of U.S. debt is owed to itself. 15.6% is held by U.S. commercial banks, and 16.6% is held by everybody else in the world. While U.S. commercial banks are definitely not a part of the U.S. government, they are so intertwined into our government, they have so much influence over our government, that I consider this 58% of our U.S. debt held by a very similar entity. And that entity is called the United States economy, meaning close to 60% of that debt is something that can be manipulated, if it had to be, by the moneyed interests of this country. Because if our debt issue was such a big problem, then there would not be a mass millionaire migration to the United States, 2,000 this year, Canada, 1,600, and 5,200 in Australia, 3,200 in Singapore. Where is the money leaving from? It is leaving from China, from India, from Russia. So surprisingly the UK and Brazil, a lot of BRICS nations. And this is despite all of the promising BRICS news releases that we keep getting bombarded with for the past year. The reason why the US gets to rack up so much debt that would destroy any other country is because US treasuries are still considered the safe haven, a no-risk asset. These countries and other institutions are buying US debt because they know that in case the world ends, US debt is still something that's valuable. Not just our debt that's a safe haven, it's also the dollar, which is one of the reasons why China is holding between, $2 to $4 trillion in just cash. Last but not least, you have to keep this in mind. The United States is the creator, the distributor, the buyer, and the seller of the most precious and agile circulating currency in the entire world, the US dollar.
I thought it was weapons. Anyway.
Well, that all makes sense. That's a good overview.
No, it didn't.
I mean,
I'm so confused. That made no sense to me.
it makes sense for the people that understand it.
Yeah, I guess so. Once again, I'm not an economist or something. It's just, I guess I'm looking at this at like a really low, like I'm gonna say IQ level, but the simple why don't, if all our debt is on us, if we own our own debt, why don't we just say no debt? But I guess that's just like childish thinking, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it works like that.
No, it doesn't. I know it doesn't, but it's bro, come on.
I feel like at this point, debt just makes the economy continue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like, I'm gonna say this, keep it short. I feel like that we focused so much on poverty to be a boosting point of our economy that with tax companies and bank companies and loan companies that we screwed ourselves in the long run. And that's what it is to me. And now rich people want to come over here to make sure that rich people money still costs something. You see the countries that are trying to do different things with their money, everyone's leaving those come here. So
Yeah, it's a system that seems like it could work, but then they just got screwed somewhere.
yeah, it screwed it. Rich people. That's what I'm hearing.
And that's why I feel like the trap is that in order for the system to continue, the system is to try to get you into debt so that the output or the income for the government could be more.
Yeah.
Based on interest.
Yeah.
That's coming from your debt.
Yeah. They teach you, I'll say this, they want to say that we're spending all our money on different countries. Turns out we're not. That's also what it is. Go ahead.
What really frustrates me in conversations around money and debt is this illusion that there is no money, that there's no money to be spent, there's no money to spend on things that we actually need, and that the whole world lives off of debt. But when it's an individual's debt, i.e. student loans, credit cards, car payments, even a mortgage, it's seen through a negative light where it's irresponsibility, it's living beyond your means, it's just overall irresponsibility. But when it comes to governments, companies, rich people, corporations, it's everybody needs startup money, everyone needs investments, everyone needs a loan every now and then, everyone gets a loan from their daddies, everyone gets a loan from their bank friends and their stock friends, and it's seen as a way in which to make money. And I think when it's an individual, it's predatory. When it's a bank lending out money, it's a credit card, it's student loans, they are an incentive of making themselves money, and I understand that. But when it comes to things like medical care, education, housing, food, even just basic necessities, it's why are those companies or those entities trying to make money off of said individuals when they're trying to do that? It's baby, stay in your lane and go and invest in companies and it's just corporations or governments buy stocks there. It's so scammy and snaky to prey on an individual trying to move up in life, live the life that they want, just trying to survive, especially under this economy. And it's seen as you're asking for too much or you're living beyond your means, when our government lives beyond its means. These companies, these corporations, they're all hiking up the prices. It's they're all living beyond their means. It's they're taking on all of this money and all of this greed to what? Want more? It's the majority of us with wanting education, wanting healthcare, wanting fucking a little treat every now and then, wanting to go on a basic vacation for you and your family. It's that's seen as irresponsibility. But when a bank goes under or restaurants go bankrupt or a criminal needs fucking loans when they're in court or they get sued. We all seem to scrape the money together for that. We always have money for military funding, but we don't have money for what? Rent subsidies?
That last part is very true because that was on my mind the entire time. Is the U.S. government has like trillions of dollars, not trillions, for defense budget, right? We're not really touching any of it because barely any of it goes to weapons, barely any of it goes to veterans. Veterans are still homeless at this point, but we sure do have money to spend on a jet that don't work yet.
Oh yeah,
millions of dollars for a jet that don't work yet. Give me 25.
this is what I'm talking about. I was just saying this comment right here, debt-based economics. That's pretty much what it is, because the government is in debt and then the people are in debt and then they want the people to be in debt so that they can continue making interest off of their debt.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're in debt. That's your fault. But like a rich corporation's in debt. Oh, you're in debt. I'll give you money, bro. Oh, what do you mean our deficit is going higher and higher?
Like this person said, buy, borrow is literally how the 1% remain wealthy.
Yep. Every time I hear one went bankrupt, but somehow they're still before yacht.
I feel like when it's wealthy people, it's like they're using their debt to leverage or whatever. But either way you spin it, they're still living beyond their means because they're using money they don't have.
But they don't have to have the threat of losing stuff because they can just keep it. And if they even go to jail, they still have a lot of money. They can just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, and just because the government is in debt doesn't mean that you should be too, because again, they're making money off of you. And you don't want to be stuck in that cycle when you already don't have money.
Yeah, most definitely.
It sucks. And I feel like people should be able to go have vacations and everything, but if you don't have the money, you don't want to put yourself in that position. That's why the economy is struggling, because the government is in debt, plus so many other things.
And it's their own fault.
Yeah.
I don't know, y'all. We might be cooked. I just saw a video called Under Consumption Core. So her and her husband, they went to an office and that's where they got married. They didn't do the wedding rings. They just got wedding bands that were $100, and that's what they did. No big wedding, no big ring. Phones that they have are the same phones that they had in 2021. No problem. She only has one perfume. Now I'm watching this and all, because when you see somebody that's doing the opposite of what you're doing, kind of, it's like, damn, like you really have a lot of like oomph, like you really have a strong backbone, because it takes a lot to underconsume in a world like this. Like they literally throw stuff at you every day wherever you go. So for you to be like, nah, I'm good with what I got, I'm not gonna fix what's not broken, that takes a lot. So I'm just watching it in awe. Tell me why I open the comments, right? They trying to clown this girl like she broke. And like, you don't gotta be the richest, but like when we start getting into, okay, my house is almost paid off, my cars are paid off, I don't really give a damn about materialistic things. We live in a world where people feel like when you're not spending money on materialistic things, you're broke. It's like, bro, who am I doing this for? If her and her family are genuinely content with what they spend money on, and they don't feel like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, I gotta get this, I need a new phone, I need a crazy expensive ring, what's the issue? In the comments really made me realize, like, yo, not only are people seeing a particular lifestyle as below them, even though it's very financially wise, they also don't have the capacity to fathom a life that isn't similar to theirs. So the second that they see a life, somebody living a life that's different from theirs, it's like, why are you doing that? Like, they're literally telling this girl, you don't have to live like this. Like, you don't have to do this to yourself. And it's like, what do you mean? They're trying to pay off a house by next year. Do you know how much freedom that's going to come with? I don't have a crazy mortgage to pay every month. And to me, it's like, damn, they really got shot. Like, the conditioning is doing the damn thing, because you see a less expensive wedding ring and you like, why didn't I spend bread like everybody else? You see that they don't even want to do the big wedding. You like, damn, why you don't want to do the big wedding? But that's tradition. It's not necessary. It's just tradition. So when somebody chooses to break tradition, they're below and they don't gotta live. Like, what are we talking about? I saw that video and I was like, yo, I thought I was strong-willed. That's strong-willed. Yeah, we're getting into underconsumption. Yeah, we're getting into de-influencing. But once people see it like raw and real, not even for TikTok, but this is really for the better of my family financially, they're like, you don't have to live like that. Y'all just like to dip y'all toe in the pool. You don't like to get in for real. It's just like, however well I think I'm doing with budgeting and not spending so much and under consuming, I can always do so much better. A lot of things that I think I need, I don't need them. They're wants. They're wants. Yeah, that's a really good way to start building generational wealth, because I feel like it really takes just one generation to like sacrifice, and that's how you start building it for the future generations.
Until someone gets into a lot of debt and it's
Ugh.
all gone.
And then just repeat the cycle, I guess.
Because, okay, I'm saying this. The whole generational debt thing is great. The whole generational wealth thing is a good idea. You ain't gonna have real generational wealth until you reach like 1% level for real. Because anything can happen. If you're 1%, something you can have money. Your kid can love it. They'll still get more money back from the government. That's what it is.
Exactly. Because if you have money, you need to teach your kids how to manage that money, because you do not want them to screw that up and then lose all of that money for your future generations when you're gone. That would suck.
For real. Overall, the best thing to really like think about, basically this under the consumption core, is that people don't want to be frugal, and people don't want to spend a lot, but also people don't want to spend a lot, and we're all just like trashing each other for it. And I think just get over yourself, bro. Save money and do things you want. That's all you gotta do. It ain't that hard.
Exactly. And everything needs moderation. Even saving and investing, I guess, it needs moderation, because you want to be able to enjoy life too.
Yeah. Because the way people talk about investing and saving online act like as soon as you stop paying for food, you're rich. No, this will always have some extra catch. Sometimes you'll just have to buy a house because your house burnt down.
Yeah.
And like your investments are going to fail. Just because you invest in a high yield savings account once doesn't mean you're going to be rich. It's a thing that has going to have to work. The real generational wealth here is knowledge to do things like that.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with being frugal and saving on your wedding and everything, because everyone just puts weddings in this like superior light. Like, if you don't spend your life savings on it, then you don't love each other. Are we seeing what's happening here?
We talked about this before on a shorts, I think. I don't think I posted it to this channel, but our ring was legit like $30. And we still think that's kind of too much. You can buy a fake plastic ring off of Amazon, dog. It's not that hard.
Exactly. But like this person is saying, acting broke is how you never be broke. Sometimes you just gotta act broke because you need to save and invest. You don't have the money because instead of it going to bills, though, it's going to your investments in your future.
Yeah. Also, like, call this comment right here, the librarian chick. Bro, if you don't just get a new phone, I also am a old phone user. Right now I have a 12. The only reason I got a 12, I had like a 9. It broke so bad I could not open the screen with the home button. That's the only reason I had to get it changed.
See, that makes sense. If your phone is broken, you can always get a new one, but you don't need the newest phone out there. I have an iPhone SE, and that mess cost me like $400, I think.
I got my phone 4 years ago, still using it.
Got mine like 5 years ago.
Real.
But anyways, the video, the people that are paying off their house rather than spending all of that money on a wedding that's not going to pay them back, that right there is generational wealth. Because instead of passing on the mindset of debt to your kids, they are passing on their house and their investments and their wealth to their kids.
Yeah.
Both of our families are deep in debt. So that's how the cycle continues, by keeping the same mindset that got you in debt.
Yeah. Also, here's a tip for weddings. It's actually a scam. Use it as a scam on other people. Get yourself some gifts, get yourself some money. That's what we did.
Instead of scamming ourselves and letting other people scam us, we just scammed everybody else.
My dad paid for the rest of the wedding. We got gifts, we got money. That's all it did. Someone stole $20. I'm still mad about that.
We think we know who it was, but anyway.
Anyway.
The thing is, you just tell everybody that you need money for like the honeymoon or future savings, and then that way, instead of bringing you like double gifts and gifts that you don't need, they will give you money, and then you have some money to start your marriage off and your future.
Exactly.
This is a prime example of how boomers dismantled all of the safety nets that they were able to take advantage of. Millennials currently hold 4.8% of all wealth. There are now 40-year-old millennials, the vast majority of who are grappling with insurmountable amounts of student debt, and they cannot afford to purchase a home, which is one of the gateways to building generational wealth in this country. At the same age, Gen Z had 9% of the wealth and boomers had 21% of the wealth. The largest generation in history, i.e. millennials, did what the system told us to do. To become the most educated in history, now they are one of the most poorest in history. To put it into context, millennials are the first generation in history to do worse than our parents' and grandparents' generation. Now you have boomers, and let me be very specific, boomers in power, who not only dismantled all of the safety nets, they're now gaslighting us into believing we should feel ashamed for not being as economically sound as they were at our age, totally negating all of the damage that they created.
I want to say this. The biggest reason that America is doing so good around the boomers' age, the baby boom, World War II happened and everyone else was screwed. We just came out of the Great Depression and war helped us out. So for the boomers to say this, we had put so many things in place after the Great Depression and during World War II to keep us safe. Like, yeah, this is great. We'll just take it away because we don't like paying taxes.
It all sucks. And then some of y'all really need to stop listening to your parents because they will tell you, you need to go to college. You absolutely have to go to college. And then you go there and you're unprepared because they don't teach you about student loans or interest rates or any of that. And you just kind of naively sign up for all of that. They're not going to help you pay your student loans and you're going to be deep in debt. So just think about what you actually want to do and learn about all of it before you do anything, no matter what your parents say.
Yeah, Marina's comment right here that at this point, Gen Z, we're Gen Z. We will not have that at least 1% of the wealth that they have in this generations. And it's actually really sad because nowadays, for someone our age to really get that much money within the length they could, we have to do something like make a business that sells for like $100,000.
Yeah.
Or become famous because at this point, doing a saving, we'll probably get there by 750. And it sucks. It sucks. If we try to do it just with smart money management, it's hard.
Yeah.
They keep making it harder too.
And they don't teach you about like these financial aspects of life. They only like gloss over a little bit in school, but they don't go into depth.
They don't.
It sucks.
It is.
Hi, my name is Linda Wu. I'm from Oakland, California, and I'm in DC today to help advocate for debt relief, particularly with the population that's 50 and over. 50 over 50 debt relief.
Exactly. So why is it important for people to like know that people over 50 are dealing with the student debt crisis as well?
I think it's important for people to understand that a major pathway is education for folks to do better for themselves career-wise and to be able to sustain their own living expenses. And right now, the way it's structured, it's like building generational debt. It seems to be the only pathway to do it. And now we're facing populations that are 60, 70, 80, even 90 plus, right? That still actually have been paying all these years, trying to pay off their student loans, but based on the way it's structured, it's impossible for them to actually ever pay it off until they die.
I'm gonna say this now. Can I have that done interview somewhere it's quieter?
Did they like put the music over the video?
They did. But all that audio in the background wasn't. Ooh wee.
That was a lot.
Are they in like a buffet or something?
It looks like it.
My God. It's all right, but see, it's crazy. We have to have people trying to advocate for it, and the government's like, what do you think, millionaire lobbyists? No.
And that's the last place that you want to be. You don't want to be 50 or over 50 and still in debt, barely able to build any type of wealth. It sucks.
And here's the thing: at this point, if you got to advocate for this mess, they don't care.
Exactly.
They don't care.
They want you to stay in debt.
That's how the government works.
Yep.
That's how most economies work at this point.
And that's how generational debt continues. It's all in the mindset.
Yep. At this point, the best way to break the matrix is just to not get in debt in the first place and just try to make sure you can get money in a certain way that to be boosted off of. That's the real matrix right there. Is debt.
Yeah, it sucks.
We're in trouble because a lot of millennials are starting to sound like boomers. We can't have that happen. We cannot have that happen. I recently made a video about how a lot of today's millennials need help from their parents to buy a home because the housing market is just so crazy, especially where I live in California. And the comment section is filled with millennials who sound like boomers saying to work harder and sacrifice your life. Work, 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 work. Work from the day you're born until the day you die. You have to work. Like, every adult I know works. We all have a job, but yet those jobs aren't good enough to afford a house in many places in today's market. Like, are we supposed to get a second job? Are we supposed to get a third job? Are we normalizing that? Are we normalizing that we have to work ourselves into an unhealthy space in order to just own a home? And there's actual boomers in the comment section still talking about specialty coffees and Netflix. That's why you can't afford a home. How about we can't afford a home because the system is set up to keep us struggling and keep us poor? How about that?
All right. I probably should go back full face because the last video.
But this right here.
And that right there has always like when they said that, like, oh wow, you really don't know nothing. It's like, oh, you're poor because you bought
Specialty coffee and Netflix.
and like, dog, yeah, specialty coffees are expensive
They are.
compared to regular coffee. That ain't why we poor though.
That's why some of y'all are poor.
That's why
but
some of y'all.
the people that know how to manage their money, it's like it's not the specialty coffees or the Netflix that's doing it.
It's not. It's truly not. Honestly, I feel like specialty coffees and Netflix are short time poor. That's why you're short time poor. While your main time poor is because the system just sucks. You're not getting paid more for all the hard work you're doing. What's the point of working hard for a house to not even be at your house?
Exactly. That's how it is nowadays. And that's how it used to be with us. It's like we're paying thousands of dollars to stay here, but then we're never here because we have to work to stay here. So it's like, what are we even here for at this point?
More legit, not even joking. Legit, like 8 hours, like 40 hours outside the house, in the parking lot, moving carts. And when I quit that, 6 hours, 8 hours in a car doing orders. I'm never here. Remember when getting a second job was only for getting extra money for specialty gifts?
Oh yes, but now it's normalized.
It's the most normalized thing. I know so many people who had worked at an Amazon warehouse and a grocery store, and they also work at Wawa down the street.
We should not have to do this just to survive, and we should all be able to afford a house. It is a basic need. We need shelter.
Back in the day with the boomers, they had to work working one job was enough. Any job was enough.
Yep.
But not like that no more.
It sucks. And now everyone's deep in debt.
Yep. No matter how much money you get, no matter how many jobs you have, the debt will always be there because they keep raising the rates. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I just say, look over your finances. Try to change your mindset on a lot of these things so that you can get out of debt and then teach your kids about finances so that we're not passing on generational debt.
So actually, we have some resources for that. Down in the description below, we have a budgeting sheet. I can't say words, but
Budgeting.
thank you. Please take the reign. I'm looking at this corner right now.
We have 2 budgeting sheets, and then we have some sheets that we made in Canva, like a meal prep sheet, so that if you want to make your own foods rather than just eating out all the time. We're going to actually bring in some recipe sheets too, so stay tuned for that. It's all in the resources section. We also have like is it a savings tracker? Oh my gosh, what did we?
We made a savings tracker.
Yeah,
we
it is.
multiple, actually.
Well, no, it's like a savings flow chart.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, because I cannot say words for some reason, like usual. But we got all that, and we got some videos. So I don't know where the annotation thing's at. Is it up this corner, or is it this corner?
Okay, I don't know what video to share, so it might not be there.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, the next one though, whatever, I think it's this one. if you want to
Spreadsheet.
watch more of our channel.
Yeah.
The next one will be recommended to you, whatever the algorithm thinks is best for you, I guess.
Oh, is it on that now? Oh, sweet. It's over here. Or it's over here.
It'll be there at some point.
Somewhere. Well, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm done pointing at things.
Thank you for watching this video, though, and please share the video. Share it with your kids and everybody.
Yeah.
So that we're not passing on generational debt with our mindsets and financial literacy.
Most definitely.
And please get us to 1,000 subscribers.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Bye.